this one right here, this is just some evil shit that if you don't get some Manson family vibes from it, I don't know what to tell you, man. The mysterious sisterhood tearing families apart.
All right. Now, this article is the classic misery loves company setup, and women do this to each other on the regular. It is disgusting. And you can tell because men don't have the word frenemy. We didn't invent that. Women did.
Yeah, and I'll add to your point on that before we get into this article. If you'll notice, if you see women that are like thinking about going into OnlyFans, all their old OnlyFans girls will jump right into that. They'll be like, "Oh yeah, I'll support you. I'll help you get started. It's great." They won't talk about how miserable and lonely and depressed they are. They won't talk about the prescription meds in the fucking closet. But they'll eagerly sign up their fellow women to go down the path of no return. All the fucking time. I see it all the time.
Yep.
And then this story pretty much just takes that and cranks the dial up to like 11. Of course, this is Yahoo News, so they got to paint you a vibrant picture. Jason and Jennifer Veras have been together since high school. We are a loving family. We have a happy family. We barely had any issues throughout our 23 years in a relationship. 23 years. Until she brought in Liana Shanti into our family. Everything changed soon after Jennifer started following a mysterious online guru who has built a following of women around the world, teaching them to cut ties with their family cult.
Yeah, because being in a happy, healthy relationship is a cult. Yeah. Good God, man.
Yeah, being part of the nuclear family is a cult.
Well, of course it is. That's part of the... Go ahead.
Historically speaking, there have always been Fruit Loops that you can recruit into a cult, i.e. the Mormons.
Yeah.
That started off as a cult. They were persecuted so harshly, they actually, fled the East. That Tom Cruise religion, what is that called? Mystery Science Theater?
Scientology.
Yeah. Mystery Science Theater 4000. I got
basically.
Cult. And then this whole gender stuff is a cult. And you could tell people in a cult when you are talking to them and using facts, and they get upset. And that's one of the reasons I came up with that saying, if someone is speaking the truth and other people are getting angry, somebody in that area is living a lie.
Yep. And that actually brings me to my point. Something that is historically, since its foundation, that has been a cult, is feminism. And this is right out of their playbook. The destruction of the nuclear family and even some of the weird, crazy gender fluid stuff we're seeing, that's all in their quoted literature. This is part of the feminist indoctrination right there.
Yep. Boom!
Let's see. Cut ties with their family cult. And to save their children from a ruling class of evil reptilian creatures who created the COVID-19 scamdemic. Okay. The Luciferian plot to harvest innocent souls.
Souls.
All right. It was normal until we got to that.
Yeah, that's a little. Now listen. I'm working on a episode where I'm going to show all of these transgender symbols, and like literally some of them literally look like symbols used to summon demons. I'm talking like Beelzebub, Asmodeus. I mean, the heavy hitters. It's not fucking surprised. Insane. Yeah. And there are several passages in the Bible that talk about demons and possession and devils, and they use thee, them, me, we, and me, and us. That's it. There's no singulars. All right, that's a side note. Sorry about that.
First, Jason said Jennifer changed her diet, raw vegan and juice cleanses. Then she started spending hours every day meditating alone in the backyard and listening to her spiritual teacher's audio classes. Boy. Over the next few months, he claimed Jennifer became increasingly paranoid and started espousing conspiracy theories. The Koof Poke changes people's DNA. She told him, "It does."
Okay.
And people who got the poke could shed the stuff on others. she insisted that they had to cut ties with anyone who had been poked.
Well,
Jason said,
there is a basis in fact in that.
Yeah, but why are we wrapping crazy feminist agendas into that? I'm confused.
we're getting there. We're getting there. Trust me. It's Yahoo News. They got to write you a fucking novel before
I'm
they get
confused. Reptiles and
who's
reptiles
recruiting
and
people into a new cult. He has to talk about things that are happening right now.
That makes sense. All right.
Yeah. So we'll try to skip to the meat and potatoes here. Kept telling them they need to leave California. The government will force every unpoked adult and children into concentration camps.
Wow.
They had to move to Florida. At Jason's birthday dinner in May, his mother shared that she had been poked. Oh, excuse me. His wife was furious. Jason, 41, and Jennifer, 41, accused him of knowingly exposing their children to that thing shedding. A week later, Jason returned to their home in Modesto, California to find their sons 7 and 10 alone. According to Jason, the boys said they were hungry and that their mom had gone with their 14-year-old sister to the family lake house, a 45-minute drive away. Jason called and texted Jennifer several times. He accused her of neglecting and endangering the kids and questioned her mental state based on what he believed to be strange changes in her behavior.
And he's 100% correct.
That is.
Yep.
Jennifer came home, took the boys, and left. Jason said Jennifer didn't tell him where they were going or how long they would be gone. He soon found out that Jennifer had sent a letter to her mother saying she no longer wanted a relationship and that she had filed a restraining order against Jason, citing his angry text messages, and obtained full custody of their children.
You're fucking kidding me.
No, that's part of the nuclear option. They pull the abuse card, and then they're like, well, we'll give everything to the woman until we work this out, but they never change shit because it takes a year or year and a half to get through the system.
See, that's where he should have fired Will the Iron Was Hot, because she basically left those two kids alone. But yeah,
if that guy had the administrative violence course, he could have fought this completely different.
Yeah, this is a very long article, so we'll wrap things up here pretty soon.
Wrap up. I don't want to read the whole thing.
We're
not here to read.
This is where it gets good. After 3 weeks, Jason said Jennifer finally let him face talk with the kids, as long as he didn't ask any questions about their locations or plans. He could see they were in a barn, wrapped in blankets. He tried to engage with them, but they barely spoke. They kept looking around at other people behind the camera, Jason told the Daily Beast. They looked very, very scared. It looked like they were being held hostage. When Jason tried to ask them questions, the call abruptly ended. He couldn't reach them again for weeks.
Yeah. All right. What this guy should have done is, as soon as the FaceTime came on, he should have recorded it.
Yep.
As soon as that fishy shit happened, the very next day, he filed an emergency motion for parenting time. And listen, if she doesn't show up for court, they're going to swear a warrant out for her. And if they don't enforce that warrant, you go to the federal court and you file a sexual discrimination case against the county for not supporting the laws equally between men and women. And most of the time, as soon as that gets served on them, they will arrest that bitch at warp fucking speed. I have seen it done dozens of times.
Fucking hell. I didn't read this far down it when Blake sent me this, but
it gets worse.
Yeah.
Just this one sentence here. Liana offers several online programs focused on nutrition, business, healing, and spiritual awakening, with downloadable audio courses that cost anywhere from $199 to $3,900.
That's a little insane.
Yeah.
I mean, they're selling administrative violence for $200. That's like 7 hours worth of footage.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I was reading this, then I got to the barn with them and the blankets and whatnot. I was like, okay, this is like some Manson family kind of.
No, there's absolutely no fucking way I would be calm about that.
No. And he mentions here, he quotes this in the article, these women were taking their children from their fathers and leaving across state lines, border lines, from Canada, from Mexico, from other countries, and all going to Florida. Jason said, Leanna Shanti's cult has convinced my wife to kidnap my kids and keep me away from them. I don't know if this is like some tiny little corner of the universe, but this is dangerous. This is how you end up with Kool-Aid situations. I'm just saying.
It's the Jonestown.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well,
a great beverage.
Yeah.
Great.
It does say that she claims she has been talking to Jesus since she was 2 years old, and is the primary vessel for his teachings.
Okay.
Yeah. Don't drink the Kool-Aid.
Listen, my buddy Darren's ex-wife literally will tell you with a straight face, right to you, that she talks to Archangel Gabriel and Michael on a regular basis.
Mm.
I've met this woman twice, and both times I was a rude bastard to her. The second time, I didn't even let her. As soon as she started talking, I just started hysterically laughing and walked away.
Yeah, and it just keeps going on and on and on about this chick and all this and all of her shit.
But the thing is what this story is showing you guys out there is quite literally the law is allowing a fucking psycho chick to take off with the fucking kids based on a lie to a compound where a cult is at.
Yeah.
That is fucking insane. And I can guarantee you she got the restraining order because she fucking lied.
Right. So on that note, you have a certain Phoebe, putting a lot of people on lists lately simply for saying words. Yes. Like if you're named Chad, I guess you're screwed. But meanwhile, the government will support legally kidnapping children and then indoctrinating them into a cult. That's the world we're living in. It's so
legalizing
backwards.
In certain states where kids can be kidnapped across state line to have gender affirming care, and they have no obligation to tell the parents.
Colorado is one of those now.
Yep,
that is effed up. I mean, listen, I believe big government is going way over the line with fucking with kids, with children and stuff.
Yep.
And what is it that you say that always starts the two-way rifle range?
Yeah, if you can't can't eat your house, can't take care of your kids, can't work, boom.
Yeah. And just to prove that this chick does have a podcast, there you go. Deep throat, and by that I mean throat chakra.
Wow.
No, throat chakra sounds like when she's given deep throat.
Well, she's getting her tonsils bashed in.
Yeah. Hasn't it been the same company, Apple, that has taken people off their podcasts or their music off their platform because it was patriotic and therefore it was domestic, But yeah, that's
going to bite them in the ass.
Yeah, this is allowed. That's nice.
Yep.
Well, I mean, speaking about divorces, I got a couple of military stories here. Let me just talk about this one. Okay. All right. Now, I have slightly changed the last names for these guys. I'm not going to say their first name. Most of these guys have long since been retired. All right. Captain Lumbaglio. Okay. He got married at 19, idiot. And he was married to this woman. What is it? He got divorced at 29. She literally waited for 10 years and a day to file for divorce because she knew under federal law, if you are married to a serviceman for 10 years and a day, you are entitled to half of their pension. She never put on a fucking rucksack, walked 1 fucking centimeter anywhere, jumped out of no planes, did absolutely no soldier work, but gets half this dude's pension. All right. Now, I would call this a semi-win here. So she was entitled to get half of his retirement, but when he reached the rank of lieutenant colonel, he did a medical retirement for disability. And a majority of his pension was moved over to the disability side. So she did get half of his pension, but only the $1,000 that was left over. So she got $500 a month. So that's not a total win, but I think he did pretty good. So I got a few. I'm not going to go through all of them, but I'll interject them if they need to happen. But
yep, here we go. But speaking of someone coming into some money and them thinking that, oh, I need this money because I'm winning.
Before you go there, let's talk about this one thing. Your money is my money, and my money is my money. Yeah. That is, women say that all the fucking time. You want to talk about an entitled narcissistic bitch. That's the attitude right there.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was actually just a few months back, man. I was loading up some stuff for a printing company or whatever, and I see this woman walk in, truck driver or whatever, and she's talking about a party they're going to be throwing, openly flirting with the guy that owns this company, by the way, and talking about, well, my money is my money, and his money is also my money. And it's just like, for me to shut my mouth. I wanted to keep my contract that day, but man.
That's right. And you know what?
Man.
This is the way it works, though. Most of these women are going to find out on the back end that all of that shit they did is going to add up for naught. Because I know, listen, I'll be 55 in October of this year. I have been in the dating game since my first Space Ghost encounter when I was like 12.
Yeah.
And I got the business. I got Dear John twice. I got divorced once. I had a couple of like really nasty breakups. But now at my age, because, I do look in on the lives of some of these past women, and for the most part, except one, their lives are complete fucking train wrecks. One of them is living in a van by a goddamn river in Washington State. One's dead from an overdose. One did some time in and out of jail. But like literally, they've once they got around north of 35, it's like they became partially invisible until they get to the point where they are invisible to men.
Yeah, and I mean, I want to point this out. I know Pandora's box is open, and I know there's no going back. That's what a lot of guys in this sphere say. But ladies, if you're listening and you're in your 20s, look, a lot of men can go through a lot of messed up stuff, right? And they can recover from it. And by their 30s, if they've made better decisions, they can usually come out on top and still be the winners in the end. But ladies, your actions, you don't get a free pass. So if you're out there writing the CC, let's just say, seeing every man in your town or your state, there will be consequences to that. There's no free ride here. Again, we talk about the 5 F's, pop. What was that? Fit, feminine, friendly, fertile, faithful.
Yep, and faithful.
Yeah, and the problem is women miss all that, thinking, well, I can do the strong, independent career woman thing, mess around with Chads and Tyrones, and I've said this on my show 100 times now, but the thing is you don't have that time. Ladies, if you are in your 20s and somehow you've stumbled on this show, keep in mind your 20 to 25 is your mark to find a man to spend your life with, not to find every guy in town for the night. And by the time you're 30, if you haven't learned that lesson, I'm telling you, I'm witnessing it. It's sad, it's depressing, and it's the rest of your life.
Yeah, you're referring to the Congo cock line.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. That's how we go.
Watch Grunt Speak live every Tuesday and Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern. And if you want to join Pop for Supporter Sundays, go to redonkulous.com/donate and make a monthly pledge. A link is in the Meat Gazer box.